Hi everyone, Kelly here, and welcome to day 19 of Squaretober, where I take a 4x4-inch piece of watercolor paper and make a small piece of art on it and upload it every day in October. And today I am doing a nice little layering painting, and I'm literally just mixing together the dregs of my palette. You know how when you mix colors and you have leftovers? Well, this is like everything but the kitchen sink, and it turns to this beautiful sort of charcoal gray in the end that I just love. And one of the watercolorists that I learned from a lot when I was first starting with watercolor, Liron Yankonsky, I think that's how his name's pronounced. But coincidentally, I just happened to see a post on Instagram where he said, I never clean my palette. He leaves it all on there, and he says he can overpower whatever the main color is that he wants to make. And it does. It makes the colors more muted and more natural. And I think that's something that I'm definitely going to start trying to do, because I'm enjoying the, I feel like it's more sophisticated also. It's not so, I do love the really bright colors. That's something that I just really enjoy. But sometimes I need a break from that. I just want subtle sophistication. Well, maybe the painting isn't sophisticated. Actually, I think this one looks pretty sophisticated, but I'm going around in circles. I guess what I'm saying is sometimes I want those more muted, natural-looking colors rather than the one pigment only that we tend to want to have in our palette. So anyway, this painting is all about layering. And like I said, it's a mixture of all the dark colors that were left on my palette. I did in the end have to add a little bit from my main palette because I was running out. I finally had used up all the dregs in my palette. But there's just enough of phthalo blue in it that it stains. And when you're going to do layering, I've always heard, and I find it to be true, you want to use staining colors that will stick. Once they've dried and you re-wet them, they don't come back up off the palette, because if they do, it's really hard to layer. But as you can see, it's also a little blotchy because it also had some ultramarine blue in it. Ultramarine blue is not a good layering color because it doesn't stain very much. It comes right back up off the palette. So keep that in mind when you're layering, and maybe stick to, if you're going to do a mixture of colors, stick to staining colors, which is what I should have done here. So it is a little splotchy here and there, but I think overall the effect is beautiful, and it's something that I'm going to try to do later on. I like it for color studies, and I like the flow of it, kind of a smoky flow. And then the sophistication comes with putting a metallic watercolor, or you could even use a metallic ink or acrylic, whatever you wanted to. But I found that I just pulled out my Finetec, and they do a beautiful job, and they definitely lend an air of sophistication to this painting. Now, the one thing I will tell you, it doesn't really show because I cut those parts out because they would just make the video incredibly long and tedious to watch. But in between the layers, you either have to take a hairdryer or you have to let the layers dry in between. That can, if you don't, it can cause cauliflowering, and it may have actually been responsible for a little bit of this, but I did try to let it dry thoroughly in between, and I did use a hairdryer. But when you're layering and you want a nice smooth wash, it's really important not to have any residual dampness from the previous layer. Anyway, you guys, I hope you have had a good couple of days. I'm sorry I missed you last night, but ever faithful, I will make it up. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and for your nice comments, and for your participation on the channel. And I will see you tomorrow night, you guys, after I figure out which side I'm going to put this on, right? Which side is up? I finally made a decision and signed it on the back. Anyway, you guys, take care, and I will see you in the next video. Be well and be creative. Good night.